Welcome to Gulf War, the battle after the war. I'd like to take a minute to say thank you to everyone who reached out to me during the two-day RAC meeting. I'd also like to say thank you to the RAC board for taking the time to listen to all of us, even though we are frustrated. I personally take comfort in knowing that there is a small group that's actually out there and cares about our opinions and is willing to hear us and try to take action even on topics that you don't have control over. I'd also like to recognize the other veteran charities that were in attendance and representing Gulf War veterans. I thought that was great. It's nice to hear that the first meeting that I attended, I don't think I heard as many, so it seems to be growing exponentially as the RAC meetings continue to happen, which is really great. Your efforts and what you guys do is also greatly appreciated. The more voices, obviously, that we have speaking for us, the quicker we can affect the badly needed changes in the VA healthcare system that need to happen now. And lastly, I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to all of my listeners. Without you, without your support, I would not be able to do what I do. It's taken a lot for me to get to where I'm at now from where I started. So I thank you for all your support. I'm hoping 2020 is going to be a year that all of us can make a whole lot more noise than we have in the past, and a whole lot more change than we have in the past. And I think that there is enough of us now that have the drive to make this happen. And as long as there's that support network pushing us up, I think we can make the changes that we need to. So that's my rant, my thank yous. Now, real quick, don't forget on February 28th, the conference down in Davie, it's at Nova Southeastern University. Come and say hi. I'll be walking around probably with one or two others from my group. Come and say hello, introduce yourselves. Maybe let's do a quick 10-second interview, or tell me your story. Let's get acquainted. I'd like to know who's listening. That being said, I'm gonna digress a little bit. I know back in the past I've told you guys I like to occasionally research my medications that I'm taking. And I don't know why it took me so long, but I just recently started researching my blood pressure medicine. Don't ask, I have no clue why. It was one of those things I've been taking since, I don't know, 34, 35, something like that. And I guess basically with the push from all of you and my more knowledgeable colleagues and have been educating me, and I've been learning and doing gene testing and just all kinds of stuff I've done that has brought me to this point now. So I decided to research blood pressure medications. For example, I did not know that 2 of the blood pressure medications that I'm taking, I'm only taking 2, but both of them are diuretics. So that's an issue. That explains why I have dry lips all the time, why I have dry mouth all the time, because I'm not drinking enough water. I'm assuming that the amount of water that I would drink in a day is normal, or I guess, I don't know. And I assumed I was drinking enough, but apparently with those pills, I'm not. They're canceling out what I'm putting in my body, so I need to drink more. So I'm playing with that now, where most people, the standardization for your water intake is like 8 glasses of water a day. I think it's 8 ounces of, tongue twister, 8 ounce glasses of water a day is what you should be drinking on an average. Some drink more, some drink less, obviously. So I'm at that point where I should probably be drinking more, because I I drink what I thought was quite a lot, but apparently it's not enough. So I thought that was interesting. That, and I have low salt intake, so I'm not retaining water like another person would. I'm following a diet. It's not a strict diet anymore. I'm following a basic run-of-the-mill, I'm staying between 175 and 182. It's a good, decent variation. I have about a 3-pound weight shift daily, so I know physically, aside from my ailments, my body is in good shape. So those are things that you have to keep an eye out for. The other thing that I have an issue with is the amlodipine makes me dizzy for several hours. So I take that at night right before I go to sleep. That way, when the side effects hit, I'm out cold. Sometimes it does wake me up. Sometimes it doesn't wake me up fully. I'm learning that just as recent as a couple days ago because of the Fitbit that I wear. This Fitbit Charge 3, not only does it give me the time and track my steps, but there's an app on my phone that tells me all of my activity throughout the day. It gives me the ability to log the water intake, my food intake, my calories burnt. The steps I don't believe are 100% accurate, but at least it shows that I'm active. But what I was alluding to is the fact that it tracks my sleep patterns, which I thought was really interesting. It is really, really accurate from what I can see, at least from that standpoint. It tells you how long you were in light sleep, how long you were in REM sleep, how long you were in deep sleep, and then when you woke up and when you went back to sleep. And there's times where it says, I'm awake and I don't recall it, but it's in the beginning of my sleep pattern. So that tells me that after I've taken my blood pressure medication, I'm maybe not waking completely up to the point where, you're alert and you know what's going on around you, but the dizziness is bringing me out of that sleep that I thought that I was getting. So it's interesting. So I'm playing with that a little bit. And the nice thing about this is after I'm done with the study, I get to keep this. So I'm definitely going to make use of it. It's pretty cool. So I would say if you were doing anything at all as far as studies go, I would definitely do the CoQ10 study just so you can get the Fitbit Charge 3 because it's kind of cool. So anyway, now that you know all this about me, what I would like from you is to answer these two questions. What is your medication regimen? Do you take blood pressure medicine at night? Do you split it up? Are you taking more than one? Or are you taking just the one? Do you take it with food? Do you take it without food? And what are you taking? Are you taking 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams? Are you taking lisinopril, amlodipine, clonidine? What are you taking? And then lastly, I want to ask you about your weight. Are you overweight? Are you underweight? Are you at weight? And what do you do for exercise? I know that's more than the two questions I said I was going to ask, but I'm curious. My exercise regimen is very, very weak. Where I used to be an amateur athlete, I'm now struggling to get a good 15, 20-minute workout in a day. And it's very light. I call it a maintenance workout because it just keeps me moving, keeps me focused, and it allows my cardio to stay at a specific level. It's not the greatest, but it's definitely not the worst. I could be far worse than I am. I can get up and walk. I can do a lot of things that some others can't. So those are my questions. If you can play this back and answer them, you don't have to answer them publicly. Like I've said in the past, and a lot of you have, just PM me your answers. I would love to sit there and chat with you. I want to pick your brain. A lot of you have been dealing with this for a lot longer than I have, and some of you haven't. But just because you don't have the length of time being in the know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't know more than the next person sitting next to you. So I want to know, I want to share with everybody if we can, if you'll allow it. If not, that's fine. But I want to know for myself what you guys are doing and what's working and what's not. If you go back through my podcast, if you're just now catching this one, you'll hear me tell you, I did this and it didn't work, or I did that and I ended up in the ER, or I did X and I got positive response. So I'm not ashamed to tell you I failed. I'm also not ashamed to tell you that I did good. So go back and listen if you haven't. And if you have and you want more information on a particular podcast, PM me. I'm more than happy to do more research. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. If you want to jump on with me, we can talk together. I love having guests. I much prefer to talk to a person than this camera. So PM me, let's talk, let's do something. There are some things in the works. You are going to see some changes here in the future as far as Gulf War, the battle after the war goes. And I'm excited about these changes. I'm excited about what's happening and the attention that I'm getting, which is all positive. And all of y'all have been great. And I just greatly appreciate everything that you guys have done with me, for me, and how much you support me. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. And don't forget to hug a vet.